Hello, hello, hello. I am the Linux Mensch. The other day I did a video about the awesome window manager, and after I posted it, I realized I forgot to do a lot of things. So today I'm going to do part 2. So let's get to it. Well, I'm in a virtual machine of Arch Linux with the awesome window manager, and the first two things I'm going to do are going to be really quick. I may have done them in part 1, but I don't remember. So I'm going to do them again. It won't take any time. First thing I like to do now, if you downloaded all the applications from my GitLab repository, you'll have all the proper files to do this. And what I want to do is hold down the power key and hit P. I want to hit power. First I'm going to hit custom, CUS for custom. And what I'm going to do is click on Matera Dark. I'm going to go to icon and I'm going to click on Papyrus. And then I'm going to apply it. And then I'm going to close it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is click on the super key and the P and type in power. And then go into the power manager and I'm going to maximize that. And I'm going to go to display and I'm going to turn this off because I don't like the power manager putting my computer to sleep or turning it off. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to manually change the wallpaper. Now, if you downloaded my GitLab repository, you're going to have 3 wallpapers in the home directory. So I'm just going to go into PCMan FM, and there they are. There's the 3 wallpapers. And they're in my home directory. They're not in a directory called wallpapers, but they could be on your machine. So what I'm going to do is close this. I'm going to open up my terminal by hitting the super key and the enter button. And I'm going to type in this command, vim. No, let's not even do that. Let's do cd period config / awesome. Now we can see I have files in here. And I'm going to go into this theme file. Now you can use Vim, you can use Nano, you can use a text editor, you can even use LibreOffice or OnlyOffice. But I'm going to use Vim because it's my favorite text editor. So I'm going to Vim into theme Lua. Now you can see here I have all these wallpapers down here. And let's just go to the top. So this is what the top looks like. If I scan down, just go down further, you can see I have all these wallpapers here. Now, if you're running Awesome Window Manager on the default, let me put it to you this way. If you're running Awesome Window Manager on the Arch Linux default Awesome Window Manager configuration, you're only going to have one thing in here, and that's going to be this one. That's going to be the only wallpaper theme that's in there, line 100. Now, I put these in, but they're all deactivated because they're blue. They're the color blue, and they have these dashes in front of them. So what I'm going to do is put a dash, 2 dashes in front of the default wallpaper. Oops. And I'm going to close that. And I know I have this dark cyan wallpaper. This one here is in my home directory. And if you downloaded my GitLab repository, that's going to be in your home directory as well. So I'm going to deactivate this line. And now that line is activated. I'm sorry, I'm not deactivating it. I made a mistake. I'm going to activate the line. So these lines are deactivated, these blue ones, and these white ones are activated. So I've activated this wallpaper called Dark Cyan. Now, if your wallpaper is in a wallpaper directory, it's going to look like this. So you have to make sure your direction is exactly where the wallpapers are and the actual correct spelling and name of the wallpaper. So I'm going to save this file. Now, whenever you make changes in Awesome, you got to restart. So I could do Control, Super key, R, or I could just use my menu and click on Restart. And there we are. We have the wallpaper set without using a third-party wallpaper application. And it's fantastic. Now, the reason why I don't like using a third-party application, there's several reasons. Number one, it uses more RAM. When you do it this way, it uses less RAM. Now, the only hassle about doing it this way is that for me, it's not a hassle because I can use the same wallpaper for 6 months or even a year. So if you're only changing your wallpaper every 6 months or a year, it's not a hassle to go into the configuration files and do that. But some people like to change their wallpaper every day or several times a week. Then it can be a hassle. And in that case, it's easier to use a third-party wallpaper application. And of course, some people don't like doing things in the terminal and they don't like messing around with configuration files. So for that reason too, it would be better to use a third-party application. So a third-party application that works with Awesome Window Manager and that I have used is Nitrogen. So what I'm going to do is go into a terminal and you're going to download Nitrogen. Sudo pacman s nitrogen. And you're going to put your password in. I already have it installed, but let's reinstall it. Now let's clear the screen. Now, before you start using it, there's a couple of things you want to do. There's two things you want to do. Number one, you want to go back into your configuration files. So you're going to do cd.config awesome. So now we're in Awesome. Let's list the files. The first thing we want to do is go into your RC Lua file. Let's see if I can highlight that. I'm going to go into that file. So we're going to do Vim. And like I said, you can use Nano, Vim, your favorite text editor, your favorite GUI text editor. And remember, GUI means graphical user interface. Or you could use OnlyOffice or LibreOffice, any text editor you want. I like Vim. So I'm going to Vim into it, RC Lua. And let's just go to the top. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the bottom. Now, if you downloaded my GitLab repository files and you're using my Awesome Window Manager file, you're going to see this line here, 744. Now that line is deactivated. So what you want to do is activate it. So you're going to take out the 2 dashes. Now what this line does, it's going to make sure Nitrogen starts every time you log into your Awesome Window Manager. And this restore flag is going to make sure that the last wallpaper you had up on your screen is going to be the one that's loaded up. So we're going to take out these 2 lines, and now that line is activated. So every time I reboot and log into Awesome Window Manager, or if I log out and go into Qtile, or log out and go into my Cinnamon desktop and then come back into Awesome, Nitrogen is going to be restarted, and it's going to hold the same wallpaper that it had in the last time. So you want to activate that, and we want to save the file. Another thing you want to do is you want to go into this theme file right here. And again, you can use whatever text editor you want. And we're going to do, I'm going to use Vim theme. And I'm going to deactivate this wallpaper because this conflicts with Nitrogen. And our Nitrogen conflicts with this. They conflict with each other so that Nitrogen won't work properly. So I'm just going to put 2 lines there, and now it's deactivated. So all the wallpapers in this file are deactivated. So I'm going to save the file. And that's the key. You want to make sure all the wallpapers that are in there. Now, if you're using a default awesome window configuration file, then there'll only be one wallpaper in there. But if you're using mine, then there'll be all those in there. The key is you want to make sure they're all deactivated. So now we're going to, let's close the terminal. And now I'm going to hit, now the thing is, nitrogen is not in my menu, and I don't have a key binding for it. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But before we do that, we can just use the built-in menu that comes with Awesome in every distribution. So I'm going to hit the mod key or the Windows super key, and I'm going to hit the P. I'm going to type in nitrogen. There it is here. Now, of course, the mouse won't work. You can't click it. I'm going to hit enter. And there's my 3 wallpapers. So I'm going to click on this one. Let's apply it. And let's close the window. And there we are. We're in Arch Linux. Now let's see if it's stuck. Let's get out of there. Let's quit. I just want to see if everything's working. Let's go back in. And there it is. Let's refresh the screen. I only have to do this to make the bottom bar larger because I'm in a virtual machine, and sometimes the virtual machines are a bit funny. So when you're running Awesome Window Manager in Debian or Ubuntu-based distributions, and you install a new application, it automatically it's filled into the menu. But it doesn't automatically give you a key binding. But when you're using Awesome Window Manager in a pure Arch system, and you install a new application, it doesn't put it into the menu. You have to do it yourself, plus you have to do the key binding. So let's do that first. Let's go into here, and we're going to go into our .config awesome directory. We're going to list the files. We're going to go into our RC Lua, vim rc period Lua. And let's go to the top. And we're just going to scan down to the bottom. There's a faster way to get there, but not the bottom. We're going to scan down to where the menu is, but I'm just going to go here. So this is my menu. So what I'm going to do is I keep these in alphabetical order. So I'm going to put nitrogen right under Nemo. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy Nemo. And I'm going to paste it. Then I'm going to just change this. And of course, you can do this in LibreOffice, OnlyOffice, or any text editor you want to use. Nano, gedit, whatever. So I'm going to, whoops. I'm going to change that to capital nitrogen. Now this is just a title. Oops. Now the second word has to be correct. So I'm going to delete that to nitrogen. Now this second word, that has to be the actual word that truly and functionally opens the program. If it's not, it won't work. Now you might be asking, well, how would I know? You know, like for instance, here to open calculator, you have to have GNOME calculator in. If you just put calculator, it won't work. Well, how would I know if it's going to work? Well, you could do a test in the terminal. Go into it, open up another workspace and go into the terminal. Let's type in nitrogen. And there it is, it opened. So I know that's the correct command. Let's just close that. Let's go back to the other workspace. So like I said, look at for calculator, it has to be gnome-calculator because that's the calculator I have installed. So anyways, I know it's nitrogen, so there it is. Now let's go down to the key bindings. And I'm just going to quickly get to where my Nemo key binding is. And these are the key bindings that I made. These don't come with, there's no key bind. These key bindings, let me put it this way. In the default Awesome Window Manager configuration, there are some basic key bindings, but you won't get all these key bindings for your applications. I put these in. So you have to put them in properly. And I don't feel like, for the sake of keeping the video short, I don't feel like making a whole new key binding. Just to save time, I'm going to change Nemo to nitrogen. So I'm going to go here. Oops. Let's move my mouse out of the way. I'm going to type in, this is just the title, nitrogen. Then I'm going to go down here and type in nitrogen. And then here, this is a title. So I'm going to go down and type in nitrogen. So the way I have this key binding is, it's the mod key or the Windows super key, however you want to call it. The mod key or super key, you hold that down, you hold down the control key and hit N, and it's going to open up nitrogen. So I'm going to save the file. Let's get out of there. Now, whenever you make changes to Awesome, you always have to restart it. So control mod key R or control super key R, or you can just use your mouse. So let's just use the mouse. I'm going to restart it and let's see if it works. So I have nitrogen in my menu now. Let's see if it opens up nitrogen. And there it is. Nitrogen is open. Now let's do it again. Oh, now let's check out my key binding. Now, you can't see me pressing my keys, but I'm going to press Control Super Key N. Let's see if it opens it. And there it is. It opens it. So that's how you put things in the menu, and that's how you make key bindings in Awesome Window Manager. Now, let's just change the wallpaper again. This time I'm going to bring up this one. Let's apply it. Let's close it. And there it is. Now let's shut it down and see if it stays in when I go back in. Let's put my password in. And there it is. So that's how the nitrogen works, automated wallpaper. So hotkeys is super key S, or mod key S. And there's the hotkeys. Now you can see up here, these are my key bindings. You can see right up here, this very second one. It might be kind of hard to see because of I have a dark theme, and this menu is always dark anyways, and this menu is always small font and small print, and I don't know how to change this menu. And also it's a virtual machine and it's on video, so it might be a little hard to see. But under this guy, Alan, the second one, it says Control Mod Key N nitrogen. So it's telling you, if you hit the Control Mod Key N nitrogen, it's going to open up nitrogen. And of course, you can see all the other hotkeys here. Now you can escape to get out of there. So you open that with the Mod Key S, or you can open that with your mouse. Just go here, manual. Sorry, it's not manual. You go here, it's hotkeys. There you are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my file manager, PCManFM. And I'm going to click on this field and I'm going to click on Show Hidden. So it's going to show my dot files, my hidden files. Then I'm going to click on Configurations. And then I'm going to click on Awesome. And I'm going to delete it. Well, I'm not going to delete it. I'm going to move it to trash so I can use it again. So now it's in the trash. I'm going to close that and I'm going to restart. Let's just use the mouse. So now we are functioning on the default Arch Linux awesome configuration file. So let's say you're running a default awesome in your Arch Linux system, and you don't want to use my configuration files, but you want to start with the default configuration file and make your own changes to it. So what you're going to do is you're going to do this. You're going to open up you could do this in your file manager, but I like to do it in a terminal. You're going to cd into .config. And you're just going to ls, and you're going to see there's no awesome in there. So you're going to make an awesome directory, mkdir awesome. Now let's make sure it's there. And here it is here. It's there, but it's empty. There's nothing in it. Then you're going to cd out of there. Let's clear the screen. And you're going to type in /etc/xtg/awesome. So now we're in the default awesome folder within Arch Linux. And we're going to ls it. And this is the default RC Lua file, or your default awesome configuration file. Now, the file within this particular folder, you're not supposed to change. You can copy it to your home folder and do whatever you want with it. In this spot, you're not supposed to change it. So we're going to copy it. We're going to copy RC Lua to squiggly line, and I still don't know what the name of that is. I know it has a technical name. Squiggly line -.config. Awesome. And it's there. Now we're going to cd out of there, and we're going to go into /usr share themes and I think I did that wrong. I think it's share themes default. So just so it's easier to see where this directory is, I'm going to pwd. So that's where you're going. You're going into, let's highlight this. You're going into user share, you're going into /user share awesome themes default. And we're going to list the files. And this theme Lua, this is the one you want. And again, you don't want to change this in this particular folder. You have to leave it the way it is. But we're going to copy this theme Lua file into our home directory. So we're going to do copy theme squiggly line /.config /awesome. Hit enter, and let's cd out of there. Let's clear the screen. Now let's go into our home folder and see if it's there. It will be, but let's just check it. Config awesome. So now we're in the awesome folder within our home directory. We're going to do an ls, and there's the two files. We have our theme file where we can change the size of fonts and stuff, and also where we can manually put a wallpaper. And this is our configuration file. And we can play with these. Now you have to play with them within certain boundaries, because if you mess up, if you do something wrong in your configuration file, you're going to get an error message when you try to load or restart your awesome window manager. Let's go in there. So now I'm going to talk about this icon. And so we know Awesome is a window tiling manager, and it has different formats. A terminal, and I'm going to go into my configuration file. So we're going to go cd Now you don't have to do, if you're running my Zesh configuration file, you downloaded my Zesh and you're using it, you could just type in config, and it's going to take you there. Now let's go to the top. So this is the default configuration file, and this is the menu, and you can see there's hardly anything in there, and all those applications that are in my menu are not there because I put them in manually. I built them. So they're not there, and you can see like here's restart. So if you go into your menu up here, and it's probably hard to see because it's kind of small, here's your restart. So this menu and the restart in it is here. And of course, like I said, all my stuff is not there because this is the default configuration. Let's go back up to the top. And it's just a few more things I want to show you. So these are all the layouts. So the Awesome window manager comes with all these different tiling layouts, and they're all activated. Now in my configuration file, they are deactivated. The only one that I use is this one, because that's the one I like. So what I did in my configuration file for Awesome, I deactivated all these layouts, and I left this as the only one. Now the other thing is this icon, use it to switch through different layouts. Now I took the icon out, so even though my bar is larger and it's at the bottom, I took this icon out because I don't use it, because it doesn't work. Because if you deactivate all these layouts and you only have one layout, then the icon doesn't do anything. So I took the icon out. So if you're using my configuration file, there's only one layout. It's this one here. It's called tile, but a lot of people call it master and stack. And because this is default Awesome that we're in, all the layouts are activated and the icon works. So let's just close that. Let's get out of there. So let's see how it works. So this is the master stack, and this is the one I like. And let's close that. Let's open up Firefox. Whoops. Let's close that. Let's open up P. Oops. Let's do Alt P. We're using the built-in menu. So there's Firefox. Now let's open up the terminal, and let's open up PCman FM. So this is how it works. So I have my file manager here, and let's just hide the dot files. I have my file manager here, I have my terminal here, I have my web browser here. Let's click on this icon and see what it does. See, it changes it. Changes it again. Look at, now we have one on the top and two on the bottom. Changes it again. Let's click it again. See how you can go through all the different types of tiling. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the hidden files, open up my configuration file, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these. I'm going to move them to trash, and I'm going to go into, I'm going to close this and open up my terminal. I'm going to go into my GitLab Mensch folder, and I'm going to LL. I'm going to CD into Awesome. So I'm going to LS, and I'm going to copy RC Lua and theme to squiggly line home dot config.awesome. There. Now I'm going to let's just power out of there. Let's go back in. And now we are back in my configuration. Now we're back into my configuration file before I made the changes to it at the beginning of this video, because this was a backup file. But anyways, you can see that that icon is gone because I don't have it there. And let's go the long way. So you're going to cd into .config. There's the two files. You're going to vim into rc lua. So you can see I have all these layouts uncommented, or sorry. So you can see I have all these layouts deactivated because they're blue and I have the two lines in front of them, and I only have one layout activated, and that's why I took that icon out. So if you wanted to activate any of these layouts, you could just delete the two lines in front of them, save the file, and then restart your awesome. And let's do it now. Let's just do it for the heck of it. Let's do top. So I'm going to see it turned white, and I'm going to save the file. Let's just write it. Now we want to bring that icon back. So let's go to the top. Oops. Now the icon is around number 263, unless you're using the default configuration, because my configuration file is larger because I have all those things in my menu. And you can see my menu down here. There's my menu is back. So because I have all these lines, and I have all these lines down in the key bindings as well. So here's the key bindings. I have all these lines. So of course I have all these lines in my key bindings. These are all key bindings that I put in. So between the menu and the key bindings, my configuration file is much larger and has many more lines than the default configuration file. So let's go back to the top. So if you want to put that icon in there, it's called a switcher. If you want to put it back in my configuration file, it's number 263. I'm not sure where it would be on the default configuration file. So I'm going to do 263, and I'm going to jump to it. And there it is there. So, and actually it's 262, I guess. So 261 is just a title saying what the next line is. And 262 is the line. And you can see it's got the two lines there, so it's deactivated. So what you want to do is just activate it. Delete those two lines. Now it's activated. Now I'm going to save the file and get out of there. I'm going to close it. Now remember, when you make any changes in the configuration file, you have to restart. So I'm going to restart. There it is. There's the icon. So let's open up some things. I'm going to open up Firefox. I'm going to open up a terminal. I'm going to open up PCman FM. And a second one. So we only have two layouts that are activated, but you can activate more. You can activate all of them. And that's how that's how you bring the switcher back if you're using my configuration file. If you're using a default configuration file, the switcher is there. And you can switch through different layouts. That is part 2 of the awesome window manager. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. I am the Linux Mensch.